karma. Mayurasana is actually one of the postures that are described in the earliest yogic literature. So it's there in the Upanishads, in the agamas. So that is directly from Sadashiva. So it's a arm balancing asana. It seems a little bit complicated, but it's actually not so complicated once you get the correct technique. And the benefits are so huge. Let's look at it, okay? You come to a kneeling posture, typically after doing Gajasana, right? So you'll be here in a transition and suddenly you'll come to your knees. If you can set it up properly, it'll be very easy. If you're not able to set it up and if you miss one element, then it's going to be practically impossible to get into the posture. You'll just simply fall over. The first thing that I'd like to show here is the placement of the hands. When you go here, okay, your hands come on the ground, the fingers point towards you, right? Now, if you don't keep your hands wide open, so this is how you want your hands to be, okay? The fingers should be wide open, the pinky will be touching, okay? But you want your hand to be very wide. Why is that? Very simple. The wider the hands are, it creates a wider base, means more stable. If your fingers are together or if you don't place the palm properly on the floor, what you do is you just tip over, roll over, because you just have a very tiny, narrow base to lean on. Okay, so that is the case for pretty much all arm balances. Your hands, all the time, your hands should be wide open. That gives you a wider surface area. Okay, so here you are, fingers pointing back, the middle finger is pointing back, the thumbs are open, almost like they're opposite to each other. Okay, now as an easier variation, you would go into it from this posture, okay? From Mandukasana, where your knees are open here. What you would do here is do it like this. Now it's going to be a lot easier to place your hands on the ground if your hands are between your legs. Okay, so from Vajrasana, you'll be here, open your knees and place the hands on the ground. Now the same applies where you'll have to tuck your tailbone. Okay, you don't want your tailbone to be up, you want to tuck like this, okay? Like a cat curling the back, and you want to place the elbow, again, right next between to the hip bone on the soft part, in the lower part of your abdomen. Okay? Now, as an easier variation, what you can do is place the forehead on the ground. Now, from here, don't move your elbows. Keep that slight tuck in your tailbone. Extend the legs back. Okay? And then, from here, now you have to put weight on your hands. Just lift the chin and the chest. So we're here. And shift your weight forward until you get to lift the legs effortlessly. There's no effort in trying to lift your legs. It's more shifting your center of gravity over the hands so that automatically you will get into the posture. Of course, your back, legs, glutes have to be engaged, active to keep the legs straight, but it's not as difficult as it seems. So it's more of a technique than anything else. And now, of course, if you are used to doing Mayurasana, you could sort of jump right into it, right? It's almost like you'll put your hands here, immediately extend a little bit the legs back, put the elbows right at the lower part of the abdomen, extend the legs, shift your weight forward, and balance. Let's break it down. When you bend your elbows a little bit, what you'll do is it's very important, this part where you tuck your tailbone. There's a pelvis tilt. Okay, if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to land. Where you want to go is right here at the hip bone. Okay, and if you see your belly button will be right here. You want to place your elbows right about in between. Okay, it'll be like this. That's very important that you keep your elbows here, because if you don't go lower enough, of course, it's all about shifting your center of gravity. So if your elbows are here, now you've got a whole lot of weight in your lower body, and that's even more so for ladies because of the hips. So most of the weight will be down here, and you really want to get your elbows here. And the way to make it happen is tucking the tailbone, kind of squeezing the butt a little bit, and keeping the elbows right here. So that's the only kind of tricky part here. And what you need to do again is place your knees a little bit back, tuck the tailbone, and place it right there. Now I'm able to land on my elbows. That may not be the case for everyone. Okay, but let me just show you. Once you're here, what you'll do is activate the legs, keep the elbows right there, fingers are wide open, lift the chin and chest a little bit, and just shift your weight forward. You don't even need to try to lift your legs. The moment you shift your weight forward, there's a point where the legs become weightless. And activating the back, that's where you can get the posture. Okay? And you'll stay there like a stick for a few breaths. So I hope those tips helped you. If you have trouble getting into Mayurasana, I can share more tips based on your own body. With this, thanks so much for joining. And if you need to, of course, you can ease off a little bit the pressure on your wrist. Gentle movement here, just pushing a little bit down. Okay? And usually when I transition after this, I'm not gonna do any more arm balances. I'm just transition onto the back into other postures. So with this, thank you. Nithyanandam.